Okay, now we will discuss subtraction. Okay, do you remember in the first day of our class, I gave you some activities with rubber bands. Okay, and so each rubber bands counts as 1. So if you count these rubber bands, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've asked you to bundle up your rubber bands in a group of 10. So this is one bundle of rubber band. This one bundle is equivalent to 10 rubber bands. Okay, so let's try this activity now. So how many rubber bands can you see here? So we have one bundle, second, third. So that's 30 bundles. 3 bundles of rubber bands, so 10 each. So this is 10, 20, 30. And this is 4 1. So basically this is 34 rubber bands. And on the other side, we have 3 rubber bands. So this is, we would like to do is subtract 34 by this number of rubber bands, which is 3. Okay, so let's write that. How do we write that? So that's 34 minus 3 equals, you wanted to find out the answer. This is what you call the horizontal way of writing subtraction. You can also write it in a different way like this: 34 minus 3. So this is the vertical way of writing it. Okay, alright, so let's try this one. If you remember in our place value system with 34, do you remember that 34 is in the ones place and 3 is in the tens place? Okay, and of course 3 here is, it's just one digit, so therefore this is in ones place. Okay, so what you do with subtraction is you subtract the ones from the ones, the tens from the tens, hundreds and from the hundreds. Okay, so in this case we only have 34, which is a 2-digit number, minus 3, which is a 1-digit number. If we go back to our rubber bands, okay, what does it actually mean to subtract? Okay, so if you count here, we have 3 rubber bands. That means we have to subtract this number of rubber bands from this pile. Okay, so since we have 3 here, we have to take away 3 here. Okay, so can you count how many is left? So we have 10, 20, 30, and 1. So therefore, 34 minus 3 is actually 31. Okay, so how do we see that from our statement? So we subtract the ones from the ones, so therefore 4 minus 3, that's 1. And 3 minus, well, there's no tens in this number, so therefore you just subtract 0. So that's why it's just 31. Okay, if we go to the vertical way, so this is the ones place, this column is the ones place, and this column is the tens place. Okay, so we subtract 4 from 3, we subtract 3 from 4, that's 4 minus 1, that's 1, and 3 minus, well, there's nothing here again, there's 0 in here, so 3 minus 0, that's just 0. Okay, alright, so let's try something different now. What about if I want you to subtract this number, which is 34, and we'd like to subtract from that this number of rubber bands. So we have 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we'd like to subtract 34 minus 6. Okay, so let's write that: 34 minus 6. Okay, so this is the ones place, this is the tens place, and of course this is the ones place. Okay, so let's write that vertically as well: minus 6. Okay, so this is the ones, this is the tens. Okay, okay, so this column 4 and 6, they're both ones. Alright, so if you notice, okay, so we have 6 here. I told you earlier that we subtract the ones place from the ones place, but is there enough 4 so we could subtract 6 from it? Like, see here, we have 6 and we have only 4 ones. Can we subtract 6 from 4? Well, as far as you know, we cannot, right? Because there's just so much more in 6 than in 4. So what do we do with that? So what we can do with that is, okay, let's rewrite this one here. Okay, what we can do with that is get your one bundle of 10 and unbundle it. Okay, So let's unbundle that. And let's count all of that. Well, if we count all of that, of course we have 10 in here and then 4 originally. So these are called now ones, okay? So how many ones do we have here now? Okay, so now we have 14 ones and 2 tens. Okay, so this is 20 and this is now 14. How do we write that here? Okay, so basically what we did is get the number bunch of 34. We made it 20 plus 14. Okay, isn't that right? 20 plus 14 is still 34. In a rubber bands, this is all your 14 ones, okay, because they're not bundled up, so there are 14 ones. And you have 2 tens, that's 20. 10 and 20, that's 20, right? So that is how it is represented in writing, okay? And so you subtract here your 6, okay? So as mentioned earlier, you subtract ones from the ones. So now here your ones is 14. 14 minus 6, you can do that now, right? So 14 minus 6, that will be, okay, that's 8. Let's write that a little bit farther. Okay, that's 8. And then of course you have your 20. Okay, okay, alright. So 20 plus 8, that's 28. Okay, alright. So let's try to do it in the vertical way. Okay, so here you can easily see that 4 is greater than 6, so you cannot subtract 6 from 4. So what you did is you take away one of the tens from here, from your 30, you make it 20, alright? You just write it on top, okay? And your 4 became 14 because you added 10 to that. So now you can subtract this ones, 14 minus 6, that's 8. And 2 minus, well, nothing here, that's 2, 2 minus 0, that's 2. So you have 28. It's the same answer here, alright? So from your rubber bands, if you get 6 here, 2, 4, and 6, okay, let's count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is 8, this is 10, and this is another 10, that's 28, alright? Okay, so in your book, you can try to practice some of these from your textbook, alright? There's some discussion and some exercises on page 30, and 31, and on your workbook, you can work on page 28 and 29.